Hey again, YouTube, Nutjob with Machete back with another review for you. Back to knives. As you guys know, if you've been watching the channel the last few weeks, you've noticed that I've been buying a few things from GearBest. I've been trying them out as a supplier, basically, and I wanted to see whether or not they could kind of live up to the hype, truthfully. A lot of people have been getting stuff from them. Some of the products seem really, really cool. They might appear cheap, but I wanted to see whether or not some of the cool looking things that appeared cheap were actually worth it. So I got this thing, and another thing I'll show you shortly. This is, well, it's SANJIA, and it was sold as a camping knife. Now, when I pull it out, watch me while I whip this out. When I pull it out, you'll see why I say it was sold as a camping knife. Because it's not really, to me, a camping knife. Though, admittedly, after you see the tests and I tell you a little bit more, you might think that you could totally take this camping with you. Well, it says SANJIA on the sheath, which, by the way, the sheath is actually a really cheap sheath. If all the money went into the knife and you got a really cheap sheath, then it's not bad. But yeah, the sheath is really, really cheap. Really, really flimsy. There's nothing really holding it together. The retention is a Velcro, and honestly, even with the Velcro on, you can still pull a knife out. So if you get this knife, get rid of your sheath, get something better. But this, I actually rather enjoy this knife. Oh, by the way, on the blade, you'll see it says Columbia, and it says Yin Company. Now, Columbia, I would think, would be the parent company, but I'm not actually sure. Anyways, this is the SANJIA. Near as I can tell, it's basically a rat tail tang, because this is actually wood and steel on the handle, and it actually is a very comfortable handle. Let's show you end on. See, it's kind of almost a teardrop handle, and what that does is actually lines it up really well. I mean, simple hammer fist grip, feels really comfortable. Verse grip, it's actually comfortable both reverse and forward reverse. Basically, you know, ice pick style and slashing style. But it's really comfortable in the hand. It's a bit heavier than you might anticipate. I'll put the specs and everything below. Now, when I got it, if you guys order from GearBest, if they're going to be your supplier for this thing, it's not a bad idea in the bottom section where they have requests and comments to request that this be put in a box. The reason I'm harping on that, let's see if I can get it close and get my head out of the way, is the tip came bent. Actually pretty badly bent. So I've had to reprofile the tip. Now, it's not actually a bad thing. When you see the test, you'll see that it penetrates just fine. And honestly, it's kind of disturbingly sharp. Now, of course, this is after tests. It went through some semi-abusive testing. I took it out and just wanted to see if I could hack into trees and stuff like that. And there's no rollover, which, considering the price of this thing, is actually impressive. Now, the price that I got it at was $12.95 Canadian, plus shipping and all that stuff. It might have been a flash sale, I honestly don't remember. I'll put a link below so that you can pick one up if you want. But the pork test. Well, you know, when I see something like this and it's sold as a camp knife, I'm first going to think of it as maybe first a camp knife, but it has a hollow grind and then a double bevel. So I thought of this more as a tanto than anything. So I wanted to see how it would work in a self-defense situation. And so, well, let's go see the pork. Let's just go see the pork.
slightly more aggressive slash, much deeper wound track with the SANJIA.
So in a self-defense situation, this thing will do the business, let's just say. It'll open someone up. Like, this is disturbing. What I did with that pork afterwards is, obviously I used it. It's the same pork I used for the cheap shot test. It's the same pork I used for, excuse me, for burping. I've just been eating that pork for lunch. So it's that same pork. Tasty. Anyways, it's the same pork that I used for a whole bunch of folding knife tests for the Firebird, for line knives. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but they're the two big folders that you saw. For that neck axe, I'm not joking, neck axe. You haven't seen the review for it yet. It's coming up next. Yeah. So I took that pork, gave some to my folks because that was a fairly big piece of pork. And rather than grabbing a butcher knife, I just used this thing and threw the pork. I cut it into 3 roasts about that big. And the pork was still frozen in the center portion, so this cut through frozen pork actually no problem. So yeah, I haven't tried to break it, like I haven't jabbed it into something and pried, because again, despite the fact that it was sold as a camp knife, I kind of see this a little bit more as kind of a fighting knife, kind of a personal protective knife, something to keep, you know, in the house maybe. The reason for that is it is cheap steel. It just, if I remember correctly, it's just stainless steel. Again, specs below. But they hardened it fairly well. Holds an edge, takes an edge, as you can see. And it's fairly comfortable. I mean, you know, bigger hand, but it's still fairly comfortable. And yeah, overall, it's, I know I seem kind of wishy-washy, but it's mostly because it's so cheap that I think this thing could probably be used in an emergency personal defense situation, rather than if it was your EDC defense knife. Or you could actually throw this in your camp bag. You might be the crazy person when you pull it out and, you know, start whittling or try to baton through wood or anything. I have not tried batoning it through wood. I will warn you right off the bat, I have not done that. I usually don't do that with rat tails. Everything I have, I bought myself. I'm not sponsored, so I'm not going to destroy something that actually I kind of find kind of cool. I mean, there's not really anything else I can add to this. It reminded me of a Tonto. It was cheap. It looks cool. I mean, even black wood handle, steel inserts, steel end cap, little brass insert right up here. The fit and finish for a $12 knife, really, really nice. I mean, like I said, I think they spent all their money on the knife and no money on that sheath. But I really do like this, and I really do recommend it if you wanted to pick up something that's just really inexpensive and cool. That's not necessarily going to be a wall hanger. You could actually use this if you wanted to. Throw it in your toolbox as a utility knife if you really wanted to. But yeah, the SANJIA actually kind of impressed me. Thanks so much for watching this review, guys. As always, click like if you like videos like this. Feel free to subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and feel free to share this video as much as you want. And until next time, I'm Nutjob with Machete, with a foray into a new knife. Stay sharp. And remember to ask for a box if you order this. Stay sharp.